اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. رب زدني علما وارزقني فهما. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Today we are going to start the rules of Noon Sakina and Tanween. We are going to cover briefly the rules, and then we will choose one of them to focus on for today's session. So if a word ends with a noon sakina or a letter with a tanween simply means a double vowel, a double sign. Then a rule, and depending on which letter comes after it, it will fall under a category of one of the rules of idgham, ikhfa, izhar, or IQLAAB. Each letter of the Arabic alphabet causes a. So if we notice here in this table, each letter only appears once. So if noon sakina or tanween are followed by one of the huruf al-halqiyya, which we did in the first lesson, the throat letters, one of the 6 throat letters, then the rule of idhar will apply. If the noon sakina or a letter with tanween is followed by the letter ba, then the rule of IQLAAB will apply. If noon sakina or a letter with tanween is followed by one of the 6 yarmaloon letters, then the rule of idgham will apply. Now, if it's none of these letters, if it's not a harf halqi, it's not the letter ba, if it's not a yarmaloon letter, of the letters, all of them, if you're unable to memorize them, just think of it this way, that if it's not the letter ba, if it's not one of the huruf al-halqiyya, and if it's not one of the yarmaloon letters, if any one of the other letters appears after a word ending with a noon sakina or a tanween, then the rule of ikhfa will apply. That's the easiest way of remembering which rule to apply. If you're not looking at, you are looking at a non-color coded Quran. Otherwise, the ikhfa letters are also easy to remember. They are mostly in pairs, and there is only a few of them that are unpaired, like the letter jim, like, and the letter fa. But you can pair the fa, qaf, and kaf also together. They come in the alphabets together as well. Okay, so let's now focus on the letter, on the rule of IQLAAB. IQLAAB happens when the letter ba is followed by, when the letter noon sakin is followed by the letter ba. In this case, what needs to happen is something called qalb. Qalb means changing the noon sound into a meme sound. And when this happens, the letter meme will be recited with a nasal sound with a gunna for 2 seconds, for 2 counts. We don't count seconds because it counts based on the speed of your recitation. If you're reading quite fast, then the count will be faster than when you are reading slowly. We count counts by closing your fist and in opening it. While you open a finger, that is a count. So if you are reading fast, then you can open your fingers a little bit quicker. But if you're reading into a very slow recitation, then you will open your fingers slowly, and that will count as a count. So let's apply, now when it's a tanween, so it's quite easy when you see a noon sakina written by itself, followed by the letter ba. But when it's a tanween, what's happening in this case is that a tanween brings in with itself. In order to take away the noon, we change the double vowel into a single vowel. So when we change the double fatha or the do zabar into a single zabar, we've taken away the noon, and now we can replace that with the meme. So let's go through some examples. I'll go through the one at the bottom, the one with the arrow. Abadan bima. Abadan bima. become abadan bima. So I have taken away a single zabar. I've replaced that noon. And this has happened because the tanween, the double vowel, is followed by the letter ba. Abadan bima. Now, when you are applying the rule, ensure that your lips are not completely closed. Enough gap should be open between your lips that as a paper can pass through your lips. So a very, very small opening is left when you are changing the noon sound to a meme sound and merging the meme with the ba sound. When we say our lips closed, when we are applying this rule, you have to make sure that your lips are just open enough for a small paper, thin paper to pass through. And you create a nasal sound. Abadan bima, like so. So I can hear somebody is applying the rule. Would you like to recite it loudly? So abadan, what will that become?
Abadan bima.
Ahsanti. Now you have closed your lips completely. Try to keep your lips just a little bit apart from each other so that a small thin paper can pass through your lips. Abadan bima.
Abadan bima.
Ahsanti. That is not important. It's optional. Some people do choose to close their lips, and that's a choice. The important thing is to a meme sound and to nasalize the meme to make sure there is a nasal sound happening at the same time. So now let's go to the examples above in the grid above. So the first one is tun bitu. Because the noon sakin is followed by the letter ba, I know I need to apply the rule of IQLAAB and I need to change this noon into a meme. In the Holy Quran, you will see a meme floating above the noon and the ba, and that's just there to serve as a reminder for you that this noon has to be changed to the letter meme. It's followed by the letter ba. It will become tum bitu, tum bitu. So tum bitu. I've changed a meme and I've nasalized it. Would somebody like to repeat this example, please? Can everybody mute and just the person who is going to be reciting the example to unmute, please?
Tumbitum. Tumbitu.
Ahsanti. You can mute yourself now. Would anybody else like to recite the next example, please? So nafsun bima, we will change the, you can tell me what will happen based on what we've explained on the example before. So what will happen to nafsun bima because the tanween is followed by the letter ba?
Assalamu alaikum. Shall I, sister?
Go ahead.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nafsum bima.
MashaAllah, ahsanti. So what did you do?
Pardon?
What did you change? What did you do?
We change the noon sakin sound into the meme. Nafsum.
And with the noon second, that's hiding in the
In the tanween, yeah.
MashaAllah. Okay, anybody else would like to have a go at the next example? So idin ba'atha will have to change because the noon second is followed by the letter ba here. So somebody recite the next example. What would you do?
May I try it, sister?
Go ahead.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Izim ba'asa.
Okay, so now we've learned the makhraj of the letter dal in the last few lessons. Dal is one of the interdental letters, so you have to place your tongue between your teeth. And with a smile, you must say dal. Idhin ba'atha. Would you like to try again?
Yeah. Izim ba'asa.
Ahsanti. So the noon is nasalized, it goes into your nose as a nasal sound, and you've replaced the noon by a meme. There are more examples here. Would somebody like to recite the next example?
May I have a go, please?
Yes, recite the one on top and the one under it. So recite two.
Okay. Mim ba'di.
Santi?
Okay, and I'll go the one underneath straight away, okay?
Yes, the one with the...
Okay, the one with the tanween. Okay. Nafsim بما.
Ahsanti, mashallah. You were making gunna and you did replace the noon with the meme sound. Mashallah. Would somebody like to have a go at the next two?
May I try?
Yes, please. Go ahead, sister.
Which one am I trying? I'm sorry.
So the middle two.
Okay. من بقلها
Ahsanti.
منفطر به.
Ahsanti, mashallah. And who would like to recite the next two? So these two, there is a tanween here, a do pesh tanween followed by the letter ba. So are we going to say abadan bima? Am I going to recite the noon of the tanween or no?
No.
Alaikum, can I try?
Yes, please. So what will I change the noon of the tanween to?
Into a meme.
I mean, the reason being, why?
IQLAAB.
It is because it's followed by because the tanween is followed by which letter?
By ba.
By ba, ahsanti. Please apply the rule. Yes, go ahead.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Abadan bima
Yes,
min bani.
ahsanti, mashallah. Is there anybody not recited would like to recite the next line, which is a 3 ayahs from the Holy Quran? The last one does not have the meme there to remind you, so you will need to apply the rule by yourself. So who would like to recite the next ayah, please? The first ayah.
May I go, please?
Go ahead, please.
فبأي فبأي حديث بعد الله وآياته يؤمنون.
Santi sister, you have applied the rule of God Almighty's Lafz al-Jalala's name perfectly here. You made both the lams into a full mouth heavy sound, ahsanti, and you did replace the noon of the tanween to a meme because of the letter ba. Who would like to recite the next ayah, please? Can somebody else recite the next ayah, please?
Sister, may I try?
Yes, please, go ahead.
जी बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम وهو عليم بذات الصدور.
Santi, so you applied the rule of iqlab. Would you like to explain the rule of iqlab, sister?
So iqlab is in alimum.
In the tanween, in the do pesh, that's right.
Yes, in the tanween.
Why is that happening? Because the tanween is followed by which letter?
Ba.
By the letter ba. So what do we need to do now with the tanween? When a do pesh or any do zabar or do zair are followed by, what do we need to do?
We need to get rid of one pesh and we need to make it into a ma sound.
So
Meme sound.
why are we getting rid of the one pesh? To get rid of which letter?
Noon.
To get rid of the noon sound, ahsanti. Because when a vowel is doubled, it brings in a noon with it, and that's why it's called tanween, which means addition of a. So in order to get rid of one noon, we get rid of one pesh, and we replace that with the letter meme, and we merge the sound with the ba with a nasal sound, ahsanti.
Okay.
Now the next one, it does not have the letter meme there, so you will need to figure out where you will be doing the iqlab and apply it. Who would like to recite the next one, please?
Shall I?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. ليس عليكم ولا عليهم جناح بعدهن.
MashaAllah, ahsant. Your ayns were beautiful and you applied the letter of the rule of iqlab there at the ha do pesh followed by the letter ba. Ahsanti. We have here more examples. If anybody else would like to recite a few more, then go ahead before we end the lesson.
May I read it, sister?
Yes, please go ahead. You can recite the top line.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم من بخل من بيوتهن من بعد
Ahsanti. Your name is a little bit short, but that's probably because your speed of recitation is faster. Ahsanti, mashallah. That was perfectly applied. Anyone else who would like to recite the next line?
Can I try, please?
Yes, please, go ahead.
من بقلها من بني إسرائيل.
Okay, so don't break the sound. Min bani, and nasalize for 2 seconds. Recite this again, please.
من بني إسرائيل.
You've applied the iqlab perfectly. Now the ra rule here, the ra has a vowel above it. So it's on top, so we have to recite it with the full mouth. Isra'ila.
إسرائيل.
Ahsant. A few days ago we did this lesson, so if you can catch up on YouTube. Okay, I'd like to recite the next line, please. Ahsanti.
I can try.
Yes, please, go ahead.
نفس بما
Ahsanti.
أبدا بما لنسفعا بالناصية.
Ahsanti. MashaAllah, that was perfectly applied. Okay, we have 3 more lines to recite. Anybody else would like to have a practice?
Can I try?
Please go ahead.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم منفطر به
Ahsanti.
مطمئن بالإيمان.
Ahsanti. You did apply qalqala. Just try to make it a little bit stronger. مطمئن بالإيمان.
مطمئن بالإيمان.
Ahsanti. Barakallahu feek. MashaAllah. Anyone else would like to recite the next 2 lines?
Sister Maggie.
Yes, please go ahead. Recite the next line.
Sister Masuma, please.
No, go ahead. She is fine.
Sister Shireen will recite the last line. You can recite this line.
لَيًّا بِأَلْسِنَتِهِمْ.
بألسنتهم. Recite it once more.
لَيًّا No, I can't do it. Let me try it again.
Yes.
لَيًّا بِأَلْسِنَتِهِمْ
Ahsanti.
آيَاتٍ بَيِّنَاتٍ.
Ahsanti. Okay, Sister Shireen.
Ji. بين قرية بطيرة.
Ahsantum. MashaAllah. Barakallahu feekum. So this rule is the easier out of all the 4 rules to remember because it only involves 1 letter. And that's why we've started off with this rule. So today when you're reciting the Quran, just get used to looking out for the noon sakin and any letters with tanween, with those abar pesh. Usually it will be at the end of the words or in the middle of the words, and just watch out for the letter ba, because from tomorrow we will have to start looking for groupings of letters, so you'll be looking out for more letters than the letter ba. So ahsantum, if there are any questions I can answer them, or we can end today's session. Okay, if there are no questions, then inshallah I will see you all tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
جزاك
جزاك الله sister.
Thank you.
الله خير.
Allah.
Thank you.